Does anybody know what this is? Who here is older than 30? Let's see, raise your hand. Okay. There you go. So this was an AOL CD. This is actually version 9.0. This is the 9th version of the graphic design, so you can imagine what the first one looked like. So back in the day, when I was just a young buck, these were everywhere. This was like air. In fact, this was the largest direct mail campaign really in the history of technology, so much so that AOL spent $300 million on this program. At one point, 50% of all the CDs made in the world were sent out via the mail by AOL. Half of all CDs in the world. And they sent out, they spent about 10% of lifetime customer value on this program. So AOL figured that they would make $350 off of every customer by the time they eventually canceled, but they spent 10% of that on this program, which for you direct marketing folks is an extraordinary investment in new customers. Why? Why would you spend that kind of money on that kind of program? It's because back then, AOL built its own castle. It built a parallel version of the web. There was a World Wide Web, and it was scary. People would steal your credit card and all kinds of other nefarious things. And so AOL created a safe harbor. They created their own castle with a moat around it called AOL, and they basically replicated everything you could get on the web within AOL's walls. You could get news, you could get sports, you could get chats, you could get stocks and weather and shopping and everything else under the sun, all within their little shopping mall. And we gladly signed up as knights to participate in this castle. The conversion rate of that crazy direct mail piece of sending people out CDs without them asking for it, 10%. Wow. 10%. Right? If you get a 2% conversion rate on a website, you're killing it. Right? What's your average banner ad click-through right now? 0.008, I think, is what the current average is. 10% uptake on mailing CDs randomly to your house. In 1992, AOL had 200,000 subscribers when they started this program. By 2002, 10 years, they had 25 million subscribers. From a market capitalization perspective, when they went public in 1992, their market cap was 70 million. And a decade later, when they bought Time Warner, in one of the craziest reverse mergers in the history of the world, they had a $150 billion market cap. There's money in the castle business, okay? And history is repeating itself. Who's the new AOL? Who's the new castle builder? These guys. It's the exact same play 20 years later. Exact same play. Think about what Facebook is doing, right? They actually have 3 fronts that they're fighting on. They have Facebook.com, okay? They have the parallel web, sort of their version of the web that they're trying to build within their own castle. And then they have this ability to mine an amazing amount of data about all of us through the Facebook Open Graph. On the Facebook.com side, a site that I'm sure everybody here is familiar with, the numbers are pretty staggering. It is the most visited website in the history of the United States. I believe the new stat, I know Tom Webster is here, is 51% of US adults are on Facebook now. It is now a majority. More people are on Facebook than aren't on Facebook. More people, or more time is spent on Facebook, more time is spent on Facebook in the US than Google, Yahoo, YouTube, Wikipedia, Amazon, Microsoft combined. Okay? Average Facebook member spends more than 8 hours a month on Facebook. Now there's a lot of things I don't spend 8 hours a month doing. A lot of things. Exercising, you know. So they're now also the largest seller of display advertising online. So they have more display ad inventory. Now it's not sold for the same kind of money, but they have more ads available to sell than any other website out there. And they're building their own castle. It's the same thing. They just call it different. Facebook events, there's a castle. Facebook causes, Facebook places, Facebook deals, Facebook credits, which is their payment system that's going to compete with PayPal. Facebook messages, they're trying to compete against email, right? Facebook mobile. And now they've just announced a new Facebook telephone. Going to be able to have a Facebook mobile phone. in terms of the parallel web and the data side of this, right? The big screenshot there was for a site called likebutton.me. And if you've never gone to this site, I suggest that you do, because it will freak you out. Go to likebutton.me, connect your Facebook account with it, it's safe, it's not going to be used in any nefarious way. And what it shows you in real time is all of your friends in Facebook and what stories they're looking at on all the websites across the web and what things they've shared. So if I want to know what videos Mark has looked at, the ones that work, and I want to know which things he's shared, I can just go to this site and it will tell me. Okay? So it is a really amazing example of what the Open Graph does and how our personal relationships can be used and the data that can be aggregated in that way. So in a lot of ways, the real power of Facebook isn't Facebook.com. It is the like button. And every time you click like on any website, in this case it's the like button for the Now Revolution book, we know who you are. We can mine all your, thanks. We can mine all of your data using the Open Graph API and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. Now, this is how this actually works in practice, okay? Imagine you go to Google, okay, and you did a search for Social Slam Knoxville, and before you hit enter, you got a box that said this. Hey, before we give you a search result, could you tell us your name and your high school, and maybe upload some pictures of your friends, and tell us what your favorite movies are, what your birthday is, and maybe some videos? And that's exactly the way Facebook works, right? This is the information that they have about us. And we gave it to them voluntarily. They didn't even have to ask us. We gave it to them, and now all of this is available. And the reason why Facebook is the big trend, right, is that the information they have about everybody so incredibly supersedes what Google or anybody else knows. And if you have the data, you have the power. If you have the data, you eventually have the money. Because eventually business is about targeting and relevance and context. And that only happens when you have data, and they've got it. We volunteered it, okay? They're building their own castle, and all the other trends that we'll hear about today, Facebook has a handle in, right? They have a handle in mobile and augmented reality and payments and check-ins and everything else. They're playing those games as well. So I think it's an interesting trend to watch. I'm not so sure it's a positive, ultimately, but I think it absolutely is real, something to think about. Thanks.